What's up guys, Mint Moose here. Today we're looking at the most evil Overwatch characters according to the lore. Over the past few days, I've looked through the lore of all the Overwatch characters. We're going to start the list with what I think is the most morally ambiguous, and then move on to characters that actively commit war crimes. We're starting off with Sigma. Bro is like a failed Rick and Morty extra. The guy had a catastrophic experiment and shattered his own mind. Talon found this broken man with a split personality disorder and thought, I know what we should do. We should brainwash him and turn him into a living weapon.
Nice.
Bro is living his villain arc like a discombobulated lapdog. If Talon disappeared tomorrow, Sigma probably wouldn't start his own evil empire.
I'm kind of retarded.
Although it may not be his fault. Bro is out there slinging black holes at civilians. Without trying to get lost in the reeds of an ethical debate, I'm going to say this guy is more tragic than malicious. Now, onto another morally grey character, we have Widowmaker. This one's kinda complicated. Now this bitch created some pretty horrific crime scenes. She killed a dude called Mandata. Bro was basically a floating robot Yoda. Man was out there chilling, preaching, spreading the word of peace. Widowmaker took one look at him and his goose was cooked. Now you're probably sat there thinking, but Mr. Moose, where's the moral ambiguity? Well, here it comes. She may be a scantily clad, leather-wearing, purple evil vixen. However, before this, she was an apron-wearing, Bakewell tart-making baddie of a housewife. Then because her husband worked for Overwatch, Talon thought, we'll kidnap her, brainwash her, strip her of all human emotion, and send her back into the house to see what happens. I'll tell you what happened. He asked for a Bakewell tart, she re-naked choked him, and strangled him to death. Ever since then, Widow's been jet-setting around the globe, quick-scoping civilians and monks alike for a paycheck. My verdict on this femme fatale is an unfortunate assassin. I think I've teased you enough. Let's get into the meat and tatties of the video and go through the real heartless bastards. Now we have the Terminator himself, Ramatra. It's hard to judge him too harshly because you can kind of understand exactly why he became who he is. His race is discriminated against, they're feared, they're attacked, and he's tried asking nicely. Omnics are being persecuted, his own race is being exterminated. He tried to talk peace for many years. When it all fell through, bro just pushed the self-destruct button. Now you can catch him screaming, "Suffer as I have!" on the battlefield, whilst guaranteeing mutually assured destruction. This man wasn't happy with the current state of warfare, so like a moral Steve Jobs, he created his own line of war machines. You know how the saying goes, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist? I mean, I'm not defending his actions, he's a pretty big piece of shit. However, I can understand it. My ranking is a sympathetic extremist. Reaper is basically what happens when bitterness evolves into a full-time career. Once a respected soldier and the leader of Overwatch, he's now a walking horror movie. He assassinates people without hesitation and leaves destruction behind him wherever he goes. Unlike Ramatra, this bloke doesn't have a moral cause. He's just out for vengeance and revenge. Lots and lots and lots of revenge. His body is basically just falling apart, going through different points of decay and regeneration after a bomb went off in his Swiss facility back in the day. He then unfortunately came across Dr. Evil herself, and now lives in constant pain, which probably doesn't help his mood. Our verdict is murderous, and not for a cause, just because he's a fucking psychopath. Before I get into the last two, if you're still here, drop us a like and a subscribe, it supports me massively, and if you like the content, I'll pump out a lot more. Now don't get it twisted, I think this next geezer is as much as a piece of shit as the last. Let me know in the comments of who you would place worse on this list. On to the wildest ideologies in the game. With a dodgy manifesto than Bane and Thanos combined, this guy's entire worldview boils down to life gets better if enough people suffer. This nutcase looks at global peace and thinks that's the real problem here. He intentionally creates wars, destabilizes governments, funds terrorist activity, and throws the world into chaos because he believes conflict creates stronger people. If America put it to a vote, he'd probably get in power. The terrifying part of all this is that he is kind of intelligent. He's not a raging psychopath that swings randomly. He calculates every disaster like it's another move on a chessboard, and probably sits on his own, using his big right hand to self-flatulate over his evil wrongdoings. My verdict on this overgooning maniac is evil with a shitty mission statement. Before I get to number one, I'm just going to go through some honourable mentions. First of all, we have Tweedledum and Tweedledickhead. This is, of course, Junkrat and Roadhog. These guys have more comedic value in the lore. They make a bit of mayhem, rob a few banks, create a few explosions, but nothing as ethically challenged as what we've discussed earlier. For our final honourable mention is the Mad Max wannabe herself, Junker Queen. She's essentially the mafia mayor of Junkertown. Pretty evil, but not enough to make the list. And finally, the doctor who looks like she's auditioning for Phantom of the Opera. This bitch makes eugenics look like primary school level biology. She performed horrific genetic experiments on living people, Reaper being one of them, who's now stuck in a perpetual state of pain. Secondly, she has virtually no moral limits if knowledge can be gained. She doesn't give a fuck who you are, she's just gonna stick needles inside and hope for the best. She's essentially helped create all of Talon's dangerous super soldiers, so all roads lead to Moira. She doesn't seek world domination, she simply just values scientific progress over human life. This crazy ginger knowingly inflicts suffering without remorse. She'll hear someone screaming and begging for their life, and write into her notebook, "This is promising data." Moira isn't a villain, she's The Hague's final boss. Thank you to anyone still here, leave a like and a subscribe, and my other videos are on the screen.